Alaikum.
Alaykum salam.
Alaikum
All
salam.
right. So to everybody who's watching, welcome. We are here at another episode with I could say two of the OGs of Minnesota. They've been probably in Minnesota a lot longer than I've been alive. But without anything, before we go into asking you guys questions or anything, if you guys want to go ahead and just introduce yourselves, Mama Uncle, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, so I think everybody knows me here in Minnesota, right? I've been in Minnesota here for the past almost how many 25 years. Living in Minnesota. I'm originally from Mombasa, Kenya, and I don't know. Do you want me to go about
No,
talking
that's
about
it. That's
myself?
perfect. That's perfect. All right, Gulam Uncle, go ahead.
Okay.
Actually, before
Go ahead,
Gulamical
please.
starts, I gotta give him a shout out because he came to the rescue today. And I really appreciate it. I know it was last minute, Gulamical, but we
No,
appreciate you taking out the time to kind of spend some time with us and kind of share some stories about you growing up. So we really appreciate it. Go ahead.
you're welcome anytime. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Ghulam Reza Jaffery. I go by either one of the names. Uh, been here since 87. And then I think I'll let you guys, this is my introduction actually for now. And you guys tell me how far deep you want to go in there.
Perfect, perfect.
That's perfect.
Well,
That's perfect.
yeah, we'll start it off. Mati, I'll start off first, and then as you know, Mohammed Uncle has been in Minnesota for quite some years. Pretty well known, obviously, especially with the leadership in the community here. But Mohammed Uncle, so can you give us your story about growing up in Mombasa,
Mhm.
how it was, what age were you when you first left Mombasa? Kind of just giving us that background about your life there.
Yeah, very, very interesting, Mehta. Very good question, and very it will be very helpful for you guys to know, how I grew up. So I did my high school in Mombasa. It's a little bit different than what it is here. In Mombasa, in Kenya, we've got A levels, which is mostly a British system. But as I was growing up in Mombasa, I come from the old town of Mombasa, which was like right in the middle of, right by the Fort Jesus, right in the middle of the island. So I grew up in a pretty, I'd say, a rough town, really. A place which was pretty rough, not a well-to-do place area, and most of our Khoja brothers grew up there. And then as I was studying, you know, I was a good student. I think I was getting good grades and things like that. And so at around, as soon as I finished my A levels at 18 years old, I decided that I wanted to go to a university. At that time, this is in the 80s. So in the 80s, going to a university was a big thing. It's not like you just get an admission and you're in. So I did well, and then I decided to go to Canada for some reason, to study. And the way it happened was all I did was I just mentioned it to my dad one time, just over dinner. I said, I want to go study in Canada. A week later, my dad came back and said, "Here's your ticket. Go to Canada." I did not even have admission to a university, and in those times there were no visas or anything. So I flew to Canada. That was my first time ever leaving Kenya, and I was 18 years old. I had never sat in an airplane. That was my first time going in an airplane. I had never seen a winter. I had never seen outside anything of Mombasa. So I landed in Toronto, applied to universities. I got into all three universities that I'd applied for. And then I studied there for about four years. Finished my undergraduate degree there. I see Shafiq calling already here. So I don't know, maybe maybe he found toilet paper at. All right, Shafiq, I got your message. I'll go buy some. So, all right. So, in any case, so I studied I did my undergraduate degree in Toronto. Now, guys, understand this was in 1985, 84. Okay, can you imagine that I had no idea what a computer was? So whenever somebody mentioned a computer to me, I said, "What's a computer? I don't know what a computer is." And so as I got to the university was giving us a tour. and said, now we're going to enter the computer room. This is what you're going to be doing, right? And programming and all this. So I entered the room and I saw the screens, the green screens. There were no PCs at that time. There was no personal computers or anything. And I saw that and I was so surprised. I said, oh, this is a computer. This is what people are talking about. And believe it or not, within a couple of weeks, I had learned so much. I was writing programs in computers because I had mathematical knowledge. Okay, I had done math. So I graduated from York University, which is one of the best business schools in Canada. And then I went back to Kenya after that. Worked in Nairobi. I was working with a very large company in Nairobi, and I was in charge of implementing systems, basically. So did 4 or 5 years of worth of work there. And then, out of the blue, there was this program going on at that time. This was in 1995, I think, this green card lottery system. And Maitham, I think maybe I was maybe a couple of 2 or 3 years older than you guys at that time. Maybe I was 27, 28 years old.
Okay.
And at that 28 years old, I said, I want to go to America, right? So I just applied and I was lucky. I was just selected. And as I was selected, they just told me I had 3 months to come here to the US. I did not know anyone in the US, no one, right? So I took a one-way ticket. I didn't have enough money. So I just bought a ticket with my family, me, Mumtaz, and Samir was just born at that time. He was just like a year old. So I flew into the US to Detroit, Michigan, and I did not know where to go. I said, I'm just going to live in Detroit and see what I can do here. So as I was looking for a community, there were no iPhones. There were no, you just can't go online and find people. But Alhamdulillah, our community has done great work, especially with Nasimco, where at that time they had these phone directories for Jamaats, and I had one. Okay, so I opened up and I said, where can I go and find a community? And the only thing when we were in Africa that we knew was Allentown. Allentown is where there's community. So I called Allentown. Somebody referred me to somebody here. Says, why don't you go to Minnesota? I said, where the heck is Minnesota? I don't even know what it is. And they gave me 2 names, and the names are Hussein Walji and Shabir Karim. And I knew neither of them. Okay, so I called up Shabir. Shabir, I am so and so, and Shabir Karim said, why don't you come over right away? And so that's how I came to Minnesota, and I came here, and Alhamdulillah, found a job within 2 weeks. So ever since then, I've been very well settled. So I don't know if you want me to go more deeper than that, or if that's enough.
I think we want to also break it in a little bit, just from some of the suggestions. We're going to break it in a little bit. Mm-hmm. Your story, what kind of sticks out to me, and I think to our, the younger age group, is like, like when somebody says, oh yeah, I heard about Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Like, like we hear about places, we have friends in different places, but we still won't move there. Like we're going to be like, forget it. But for you guys, it was more of, it's good community there. They have a community there. Let's move there. Like now it's become a lot more complicated to make a move,
Yes.
It's really what stands out.
Yep. That's true.
And then, on the other hand, we have Ghulam Uncle. And, Ghulam Uncle, I think this is what makes Minnesota quite unique. We have different backgrounds that come to our center. We have different founders of current, what the founders who came to this community, the way they've also brought in different unique backgrounds and how we've accepted so many different types of backgrounds, I think is really cool that not all Jamaats can talk about. So I'm so glad you could come on and kind of talk about your story, and then Monty will kick it off from there.
Yeah, so thank you for giving the opportunity here. My story very much similar to Muhammad Lakha, in the sense of I came in young and I moved here for studies, actually. So I grew up, I was born in Karachi, Pakistan, grew up very close to area in called Garden East, which is very close to the Mehfil-e-Shahi Khurasan. It's about half a mile. I can walk like 10 minutes and I'll be in the masjid there. So I grew up in that area, a lot of Khojas and a lot of Kachi families over there too. So grew up in that area. So I am a Kachi by 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 forefathers actually. And my mom is from Yemen actually. So I'm the youngest of the six. So I grew up in that area. Then at 18, I started going to like what they call the inter, and then finished my inter, which is like a high school. And then I moved into start my BCom. As I was starting my BCom, I took the English as a second language and started applying to colleges. And three colleges I applied to. Out of those, I got admission in two of them. So I went in, and my family didn't know about all this work that I was doing. I had some money saved up from tuitions that I was giving to younger kids. So I was using that money to do the TOEFL, do the visa processing, and all that stuff. And I went in. I told my mom, "Okay, wake me up at 5 in the morning, so I need to go right to a visa." And she goes, "What for?" I said, "I'm going to apply for America." So I went in, got in line at 5 in the morning. I was like number two in the line that day, right? They give you a number. And about an hour later, after I got in, I was given the visa, right? So I had a choice. Basically, they based on the admission, I had to pick which admission I'm going to use. So I had one for the Mankato, Minnesota State University, Mankato. So I used that one, and they gave me kind of visa for that one. And it was such a last minute. I had 4 days to get out of there and report to the university, right? So, and this was time frame of like right after Ashura. So it's like everybody was busy with the Muharram stuff too, and I had to do packing and get the tickets and everything. So my family supported me. I got here with whatever I can put together, and I had maybe one quarter fees with me and some expenses. So I got here, and I didn't even have a ticket up to New York. From New York, I had to get on a Greyhound, take a 36-hour journey to make it to Mankato, right? And first time on the plane, first time on a bus like this by myself, no understanding of what I'm doing, actually, literally. And I got there. I had a friend here in Mankato, actually, that grew up with me from kindergarten. He was there a quarter before me. So he sent a friend over to pick me up. And then I started college over there, started working in New York for like $3 an hour in summer to pay for the college. And the second summer I went to New York, a friend of mine came from Pennsylvania. He was the other guy who applied with me at the same time. And he said, "Oh, why don't you come to Pennsylvania and I can get you a job in the factory, right?" And by chance, he lived in Allentown, right? So I made that connection with him, and he said, "You know what? Uh, when we went to Masjid over there in Allentown, I found out, hey, they just made a mosque in Minnesota, and this is 1989, right?" So I came back to Minnesota, and I had no knowledge of this mosque at that time because Mankato, I didn't have a car at that time either. So then from that time, we called in, we made the connection, and we started coming to the Jamaat. And like you said, we were very much welcome. We were used to try to make as much trip as possible on occasions in Ramzan, in Muharram. And since then, I've been here and been through a lot of journey through my career and all that stuff. And we can go in details if you want there too.
A lot of auditing, huh?
So there I did my degree in finance and accounting, but after 2 years of accounting work, I could not handle the repetitive nature of it. So I got into the IT side of it in 95, 96. And from that point on, I've been doing software with some finance and accounting, but a lot of software work there.
Yeah.
So Gulamako, like when you did come to Minnesota from Pakistan, so how old were you when you came?
So I came at 18.
Oh, okay.
I just got done with my high school kind of thing, and I got here at 18. Did not had car, did not had any other connections. For the first 2 years, lived in a one-bedroom apartment with four other guys, and our rent was like maybe what was it? Maybe $85 a month per
Wow.
person. And then no car, no access to any halal meat. So the first 2 years we were living on dals and cholas and shrimps and fish and all that stuff. No TV in the house, so it was unique. After we got the car in 1989, once I started working and we made the connection to the Jamaat here, then we started coming to the Twin Cities and look for the halal meat and all that stuff at that time.
Okay. So thank you guys for sharing your backgrounds of how you came to Minnesota. I think next we want to ask you guys about what is your professional career like compared to either if you worked before you came to the United States up until what you do right now. What was your first job? What was your most favorite job? And just elaborate more on your professional career. So Mobile Uncle, if you can go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a very good question. But before we get to that question, what Brother Jaffery was just talking about TOEFL, right? It rekindles my memory because I also did the same exam. TOEFL is test of English as a second language. It's as if the people in the US or UK, or you have to know how to speak English, and they actually test you how you speak and things like that. But an amazing exam
Right.
at that time, right? Just that they don't believe that we knew English. So no, yeah.
How hard was the test? Like, what did they ask you?
Oh, it's
I
so
wonder if
basic.
I would pass.
It's so basic. You know what they do is, one of the things was, for example, they'll announce, right, that flight so and so is taking off at this time. Please report to gate so and so, right? And then they'll ask you, so what gate are you going to be at? Which flight? Things like that, right? As if like you don't understand English. And it's hard to get wrong. Okay, am I right, Jeffrey? That's right.
Yeah, but that was the standard they were using for international student to make sure before they can admit you, they will look at the score of the TOEFL, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, you have to have a minimum of 650 or 700 or 600. So a lot of the first level universities, they will look for 700 or so, right? Second level, third level will say 650 or 600. So you had to do good on those tests too. And I know a lot of people back home were making money helping people get ready for TOEFL stuff too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a living too.
Yeah. But you guys would have aced it 100%. So
I hope so.
Yeah, that really was.
let me answer your question, Muntazir. As you mentioned about my career, right? So I studied finance and accounting, just like Brother Jaffery. When I went to university, I was really interested in economics. I always wanted to be an economist at that time. So I studied that, did well. Um, I was more in systems, just like Gulam. I was more in systems and implementation. And it's surprising how I started my career, because I went to a company as a management trainee in Nairobi, and the managing director just came in and said, you know what, I've got this 50 computers. I want you to get them installed, and I want all this inventory system transferred into this computer. And I said, well, I don't know anything about computers yet to do that. He says, go get yourself trained. So I got trained with Olivetti. Olivetti is a computer company, Italian company. So I got trained, and I was doing all those things. At that time, the programming language was mostly Clipper and database, DBase 3 and all that. So I learned how to compile programs and things like that. But in my mind, right, I always was interested in accounting. I don't know why. I just wanted to do accounting. And I said, if ever I get a second chance, I'll do accounting. So when I came to Minnesota, right, it's strange. I didn't actually apply for a job. I was just walking around in Brooklyn Park here, right by Shabir Walji's house outside there. So I walked around. Right by the Imam Hussein Center, there's a building there, and there was an accounting firm there. And I saw the address, and I just went in there and I said, hey, I'm looking for a job. Can I have a job? I want to do accounting. It was a public accounting company. And the guy looked at me. I got an interview right away, and I got the job. I just walked in, right, and I found a job. So then I was really happy, very interested in, did accounting for a while. And, after 3 years, I got bored with accounting, these debit credits and all these things. It's not something that I wanted to do. So that firm merged into a bigger firm, and that was my opportunity to leave the firm, right? And at that time, this was 2000, just around year 2000. And I didn't know how to go into corporate. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to go about it, right? And we had more experienced people like, Brother Jaffery and other people who I would meet up at Masjid, and I would converse with them. I said, how do I get into this? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I still remember a day when, I went to Ghulam Jaffery. I think it was an Eid carnival or something. I went there and said, I want to apply somewhere, but I don't know anything about PeopleSoft. PeopleSoft is a system. And Jaffery gave me books. He says, go read these books. You may know things from there. So I read that book. I applied to Medtronic. I went into the interview as if I knew the whole PeopleSoft. Okay. I kind of, cruised through the interview. I got an offer. So I was very happy. And I started out as a corporate internal auditor, and I traveled the world. Okay. I went everywhere. I mean, I went to South Africa, India, Maitham and Muntazir. I think at that time, maybe you're a couple of years old or something. I used to see you guys in the masjid. I know Maitham used to come wearing that Molana dress. I remember very, very well. Right? And Muntazir, I don't know where you are, but
you were still a baby. I was like 2 or 3 years old.
So, you guys were very young. So I used to travel a lot. I saw the world. I did a lot of things. I came back. This was after September 11th thing. Traveling was very difficult. So I moved into various roles. Moved into a financial analyst role, and then moved into a senior financial analyst role. I moved into many, many businesses in Medtronic. I've been in Medtronic for the past 20 years. Then I moved into a principal lead analyst role, into a manager role, in a finance manager role. And now, right now, as I'm I just transitioned into a new role at Medtronic, where we have integrations. When we buy companies and integrate these companies together, and we have systems that need to be aligned. So as far as those projects are concerned, the SAP projects are concerned, I'm a finance lead controller for those kind of projects, the financial part of it. Very, very rewarding. I really like it. I continue to develop myself. Lots of CIP courses and CPE courses that I go through. Lots of training. Our training is almost every couple of months. We have new things coming in, right? So I'm very excited as I look at new projects that I do with Medtronic. So that's basically my career, right? I don't think there's much. For the past 20 years, I've just been working with one company.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. That was perfect. So let's see. So Momo, you said that when you started at Medtronic, you were at which position did you start off at Medtronic? Was that from that place next to Shirwaji's house, or was this like completely different?
No, yeah. So I was in public accounting for a while.
Okay.
Mostly
doing that was public accounting, and then it was okay.
Yeah. And then when I went into corporate, I was a corporate auditor at that time. So I used to audit different locations around the world. So went to many
That's where
places.
You traveled everywhere. Okay. Yes, I got a little bit confused there.
Uncle, what was your kind of story of where you got to today, of where currently what your position is? I know technically you guys are like rivals because one works for 3M and one works for Medtronic. And those are two like big, well-known companies that I think if there's younger viewers out there that are watching, you guys have a lot to offer as far as advising how to get to where you are today, and kind of how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so I started working in Karachi, Pakistan, actually during my high school years too. So in Pakistan, it's different, right? Basically, during the high school too, you get big breaks as far as the first year of college, which is the 11th grade, second year of college. So I started working the first year of college in the part-time with the auto shop, kind of auto spare parts shop. That was like labor work, so get me going and understanding the value of money and everything. Next year, I did started at a public accounting firm over there, chartered accountant. And this guy was a chartered accountant from England, actually. So that's what got me started thinking about getting out of the country to do something more. Once I got here and got done with the college, actually, let me back it up to 89. So when I went to Allentown, the company that I started working was Brown Printing Company, which was like printing with magazines and publishing stuff where they had Computer World and Mac World and those magazines, plus the Fortune, Time, People magazines also. Um, so they had a branch here in Minnesota also in Waseca, which is about 25 miles from Mankato. So I started working there. I got transferred from Allen over there in Pennsylvania, and over here I started working in '89. I did the internship after I got done with the college, after the university here, and that was kind of in the accounting department. They needed some help to do some bank reconciliation and some issues with the banking there, so I helped with that one. After that, I got done. So my degree was in accounting and finance. So I was looking for accounting experience. So I got offered a job in St. Paul at the Ordway Theater. I was in the accounting department doing their payroll, accounts payable, all that for a couple of years. General ledger, month end kind of stuff too. It's a non-profit organization, so very small department, 4 people in a room, and like back then you can do smoking in the room too. So back, my boss would have a cigar going in the back of the room. Uh, but then I didn't like that area actually, and the small company size too. So I started going to college again on the side while I was doing the work. So took some courses in Oracle, like Oracle databases and Oracle forms and all that. And then I transferred into a consulting job on the IT side, doing Power Builder, which is kind of a forms, kind of a GUI web development kind of thing you could do. From there, I got into ERP. So ERP is enterprise resource planning softwares. One of them being the PeopleSoft. One of my client that I was consulting at in '97, they were doing PeopleSoft implementation, and they said, "Okay, you understand our business side of it while you've been working here. Why don't you come to the PeopleSoft side of it?" So I started working on PeopleSoft. And ERP basically software means that you can do all your business in there, right? From the supply chain management to the your order management cycle, your financials, your reporting, all that can be in one place. So it's a big tool set. It has a lot of offer. I liked it a lot. It wasn't fully like technical, like coding, but it was techy enough to keep me there, plus the financial side of it. So it was a good combination for me to include my financial knowledge, accounting knowledge with the computer. So I got certified in the financial consultant side of it, the PeopleSoft of it, and I made a career out of it. For I did about 14, 15 years of consulting in that area. So I was consulting at 3M for five plus years, and they started their journey on SAP, which is another ERP software. And they said, "Okay, why don't you come join us full time on SAP side?" And I didn't know a single word about SAP besides spelling it out, right? So I said, "Okay, fine, I'll join." So I became a full time employee in 2011, and within 3M too. 3M is a big company too. So I did a switch between IT and finance world too. So I was initially IT, worked on configuration as an analyst and everything. Then I got into the master data side of it, data conversion side of it. Then I lead a Russia finance deployment side of it too. Then I got back into business planning and consolidation positions and lead a project over there. Now I am in last one I had in data intelligence, so I was doing reporting side of it, and now I'm doing the master data management. So I kind of drive the master data organization at 3M.
Wow, mashallah.
Thank
Well,
you.
yeah, Monty, go ahead. I think both of them are, mashallah, like really, have really worked very hard to get to where they are today.
Yeah, they both of them
Really
really started
inspiring.
from the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
I think you guys' both of you guys' stories are very similar. Coming here to the States or in Canada, North America at a young age, and then basically just working your way up, working at different companies, and then finally, like now, like Gulam Uncle, you're at 3M, and Mohammed Uncle, you're at Medtronic now. So I think it's amazing. So throughout all of this journey, for you guys, for Ghulam Uncle from Pakistan, Mohammed Uncle from Mombasa, um, who is that one person in your guys' life who you think inspired you and basically was your guys' motivation to get to where you are at today? So, Mobile Uncle, you can go ahead.
Wow, that's a very good question, right? Very very nice question. But just before I get into that question, right? Just a follow up that the advice that maybe Gulam and I can give to the young people, right? And the career that we have gone through. Yeah, we have worked very hard, but just that that these careers are very rewarding. I remember at that time when Gulam was doing this PeopleSoft and skills and SAP. Just in the current environment, we hire SAP consultants at almost $250 an hour. Okay, they make more than anyone else, right? So you get into those ERP systems, guys. It's not that if you have a business degree that you can't do systems and all that. It's the process. Okay, these days, business is not accounting anymore. Accounting is done by systems, processes, other things, right? It's more about business partnering, how you partner with people, how you talk with people, how you bring your ideas forth, critical thinking, and just to give you an example, right? When I work in the mornings till evenings here, right? 90% of my time is on the phone talking to people and convincing them, that this is the system, this is how you should do it, this is the risks, these are the opportunities. And it's more and more that accountants are learning how to understand the business rather than these balance sheets and financial statements. You need to know that, yeah, of course, right? But as you move up from an associate, into more of business partnering, that's where it counts more, right?
Right.
And that's where if you ever want to do a career, that's the route to go. Understand the systems, understand the processes, understand businesses, and like for example, I'll give you an example. Like you run this program, right? This the Roots program, right? How much PR, how much the way you talk, how you present yourselves, how you talk in front of the community. You go up there and talk or give speeches. That's what it is, right? Build your confidence, and I don't think anything is impossible here, right? You can do a lot of things. Okay?
Right.
So that's my piece of advice on that to the youngsters. Now, coming to your question, Muntazir, right? Who one person that really inspired me into doing what I'm doing? Frankly speaking, Muntazir, because I was coming from a situation, where I was in Mombasa, old town, I'd seen myself. I would always reflect myself to say, if I don't do anything, I don't know where I'm going to go. Like I knew I had friends who, went astray. They were somewhere in drugs, some things just like you guys are going through, right? I had the same situation. I had friends who died young, very young. Like my friends, they had issues. They died very young, and I was looking at things. And initially, I said, if I don't take this opportunity or do anything, I'm just going to land and just stay there, right? So I was kind of self-inspiring myself to do a lot of things. I had a lot of support from my parents. Okay, I grew up a very free person. I used to do things just like you guys. I'd go out, do things, and whatever. Right? I wasn't that restricted in doing things. I would say maybe I was the first person in our families there to get a university degree. How you have people here saying, you're the first person, first generation. So I was one of those first generations to actually go into a college and get a degree. Inspiration, more so, I'd say, my family is my inspiration. Okay, they've been pushing me. They've been telling me what to do. My as I go through my career, right? Even my family, my wife, my son, both my sons, they push me into doing things to get to where I want to do, right? So that's always an inspiration. And I always say that when I came, my goal of coming to the United States was, I'd seen such a hard life when I went to college. And I said, if I come here, I don't want to see people going into this kind of life, okay? I want them to be better than me. So always, same with your parents, when they came here, they always want to see you better than them all the time. And Alhamdulillah, you guys are doing so well. I can see, if I see the community, I see you guys, I can tell you very, very clearly, when I was your age, Maitam and Muntazir, I was nowhere close to you guys. You have a head start already, or other kids that I see in the masjid, right? Or when I come and play volleyball with you guys, and I see you guys, I said these guys are way ahead of me. I am nowhere close to what you guys are, right? So Alhamdulillah, things are going well. But inspiration should come from within, right? I mean, you have to do it yourself. I mean, I don't look at somebody and say, I want to be like that person, not that. Okay, and to be very honest, I just said I want to be this. I just want to go and do this thing, and that was it. So unfortunately, I don't have somebody, a person who was my role model or my mentor or something like that. I had to do a self mentorship myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect. Exactly the answer we were looking for. But it's crazy though how you saw it's crazy how so much happened. Like you said back in Mombasa, where some of your friends got into drugs, some of your friends got into some of your friends died young, and you look here and it's like it's not very different here compared to like living in Mombasa, right? Because like I know I have a few friends that I used to go to high school with, and like some of them passed away. A lot of them are into drugs and stuff. So it's crazy how everything is so similar.
Very
But
similar here. Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's it's a little bit different. Here you see it, but there, you can be handed out drugs, and I've seen the same thing that you guys see.
yeah.
Aren't you hanging around with the wrong kids?
All right, so Gulam, go ahead. Who was, if you have an inspiration, who would that inspiration be?
Yeah, I would have to say that my parents, right? I'm the youngest of the six. My mom worked very hard in the household to keep the house running. Um, my dad was a chief accountant in the private company, actually. So getting the inspiration from him to excel in the career, and from my mom's side on pushing hard on myself and working hard. I think my parents were a great inspiration for myself to achieve what I have achieved so far.
Awesome.
Uh,
Well, I think
so
those are two very unique answers.
yeah, so before we continue, Gulam, so you said right you were the youngest of six, right?
Right.
So so I'm guessing you have brothers and sisters, just brothers, just sisters. So are they here in North America states, or some of them back in Pakistan?
And they are all in Pakistan.
All of them. Okay.
Yeah. So I have three brothers, two sisters.
Okay.
One of my brothers lived in Dubai for about 15, 20 years, but he came back to Pakistan and lived there too. So now he's he works in a pharmaceutical company. He works on ISO 9000 certification and all that stuff. So he's related to medical stuff too there. So yeah, they're all in Karachi,
All right, so
Pakistan.
you're
But
the only one here in
I was
the
the only one
States.
that was able to manage to get out of there.
I think those are like, I don't know, after listening to you guys and from the people that we've talked to in the past, like the past few episodes, I think you guys' stories are very unique. Um, I think there was also an aspect of interviewing a side that didn't have a family to push them. They were the ones that, they were the ones that the responsibility was on their shoulders to really push to carry the family. And, at that time, maybe they didn't have that support behind them. So it's kind of cool, and to be able to hear that, you guys had this, you had to come up with this background and come here with no family here, but you had their support, which is kind of cool and interesting. And I think that brings us to our last question, which is, during these times, I think everybody's really missing out in the community and what we're able to do. So that brings me with the two questions that I want to hear from you guys. First one is, and we can start off with Mamadonko on this. Or actually, we'll start off with Gulamonko on this one. What's one thing that you can say that, when you came here, the community was able to support you and offer you on to where you are today? And what's one thing that, you'll always be appreciative of what the community has to offer, no matter what it is?
So the like I said, the first 2 years basically we did not have the connection with the Jamaat, so we were on our own. After that, once we made the connection, the community was very kind of helpful and guiding us. And it was a big difference in our life, right? Having no guidance from your elders or being able to attend all the programs that you need to attend, that was just all the support they were providing us, making sure that we were aware of everything that was going on in the community and inviting us and welcoming us. That was very much the kind of the highlight of those years when we start joining the community here. What was the second question you said?
What's one thing that you'll always be appreciative of what the community had to offer?
Yeah, so beside the Jamaat and community, by chance, what happened over time that a lot of my childhood friends start coming to Minnesota. So basically, it was a blessing actually for us to be able to grow up together. We started from kindergarten together, and now I think I have about 8 or 9 friends that here in Minnesota, where we went to college back to back, and we all got married in similar time frames, and now have kids who are growing up together. So that was a big blessing for us too. Beside the Jamaat supporting us, the blessing of all having all the friends here and all their families here in the town.
Wow, that's really cool. That's
Yeah.
That is
special.
really cool.
And Mamalunko, how about for you?
So for me, I think I've been blessed. When I first came here, I did not know what to expect in Minnesota. I didn't know who was here, but then you come here and then you meet the likes of Hussein Walji and Shabir Kareem, and Shabir Walji and Zuli Walji and all the Walji family and all the other friends, Naushad Kareem, Ali Sabur, Abbas Piarali. You meet all these people. Maitham, I still remember when I came here, I had never played volleyball in my life. Okay, I did not know how to play. I came here, and I think the second night there was a volleyball game here, and they used to play outside in the sand. This is even before you're born. You aren't even born, right? And I went there and I saw people playing, and I just sat there. And right after the game, I'm not kidding you. Every single person came and talked with me. I wasn't used to that kind of attention, and they started asking me about myself, who I was, where I came from. Are you looking for a job? Don't go from here. Just stay here. Very warm community, right? And in one night, I met maybe 40, 50 friends just in that volleyball game, right? And from that point, I don't know if it was once a week or anything, something like that, that they used to play volleyball. And I used to go there. And every time I went there, they would ask me, how am I doing, right? Did I find a job? This and that, right? A lot of help, every single step. Anybody who saw me asked me, about that. Especially, for example, Brother Noshad Kareem. In those times, from what I remember, we used to drive around into people's homes just like that, without anyone announcing at night after dinner, and we'd sit there and talk, right? So I'd go to Noshad's house with Shabir Kareem, and we'd be talking just like that. And so a lot of help. The community was very close. Not that it's not very close right now, but it was extremely close at that time. So that was great. And then we used to play, volleyball at Hennepin Community College. Then we had our first team that went to Canada to play. I remember we had the Sherwin Williams shirts at that time. Never knew how to play. I literally remember, the game that was going on, and we were playing Allentown. And out of the goodness of their heart, they would give us 1 point. Just like, okay, we're giving you 1 point. Okay, this Kausar was playing in the center and give us 1 point or something. And then overall, if you look at it, there were just a couple of players who were really good here, who were that standard of playing. One was Sikten. Sikten was our neti, and the other person I remember was Mohammad Walji. He was a very good player at that time. In those days, he was maybe younger than you guys, but he was a very good player. And we just had those two players. We were very proud of those two players at that time. Imran just used to stand in the front at that time, right? Doing nothing. Wouldn't know that he'd become a center player. So the community was very warm, right? Very supportive. I got a lot of support even as of today, right? Even right now. I mean, people will stop by my place, or I'd go to their place and we'd talk, and any problems, anything. Now that taught me also how to give back. Okay, so I said, I got to do something for the community, and that's why you see me serving quite a bit with the community, with Jaffery Sports, or the madrasa, or Anjuman Asgari, or whatever we can. That inspired me. So I have to give something back, right? Without this community, I don't think we would be anywhere really.
Yeah.
One of the best communities, best people, and my salams to all of them.
I'll echo that message. It's like I've gone to New York and Pennsylvania and California and visited their communities. Atlanta, I think this place is one of the best to live and raise your families around.
Alhamdulillah, yeah, and it's I mean, like, I'm especially having a really hard time, especially during the holy month of Ramadan. It's I think, I hope, like, we weren't taking everything for granted, because now you're starting to realize how even those 1 or 2 days in Ramadan, like how it's it really changes the whole month. It changes everything. I don't know, Monty, is there anything you wanted to add?
I mean, kind of like what you said, like ever since I was born, like we've been eating iftar at mosque every single night for as long as I can remember. And it's some nights there'd be some food that it's like, oh man, no, I don't want that. Let's go to Chipotle, or let's go to, like, back in the day, Jaffa. So now it's like, man, I would do anything to just get one of those iftars like right now. So yeah, I realized that we really took the community and everything for granted. So hopefully this can all be over soon, so we can all get together again and
Inshallah.
eat, inshallah.
Well,
Yeah.
Inshallah. Yeah. Well, with that, I'm actually going to ask Mohammad Uncle to stay on. And Ghulam Uncle, I want to thank you once again for coming on today. It means a lot. It means a lot to us as Jaffery Sports, and also to me and Monty specifically, to kind of get some, background, kind of about your story, and kind of how you were able to, grow up here. And I really appreciate your time. I really do.
Thank you for having me. This was very
Thank you,
very
Jaffery.
much fun. Thank you
Thank
guys.
Thank you,
you.
Ghulam Uncle.
Inshallah,
Thank
we'll
you.
see you. Mohammad
Yeah.
Uncle, with that, I'm going to ask you to stay on. We have a special person that we wanted to get on the show, that requested that we requested. Mohammad Uncle has a good friend, and we're like, let's bring him on because he might be interested in speaking to you. Maybe it's been a while. So,
Inshallah.
do you know who it is?
No, I don't know. No, I don't know.
Okay, good. Because
Yeah,
it's supposed to
okay,
stay
all right, good.
secret.
It's a
I
surprise
told
then.
him,
It's a
don't
surprise.
say anything.
I have no idea. I don't know, really. I don't know.
I know.
just had iftar and I just had my coffee, so I don't know. My head is, but I'd be interested to know, and looking forward to who it is.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I mean, I gave him a time a lot earlier, so I hope they didn't go to sleep. But I think they're gonna come, hopefully.
Inshallah.
So with that, actually, Mama Uncle, one of the things I wanted to also ask you about was after serving and doing all these different jobs, and
Ethan, I'm going to
in
stop
your
you for 1
workload.
second. I'm going to
Okay.
stop you just because I think I got a request that the person is in.
Oh, okay, Bob, let's get him in.
Musti.
Musti Uncle.
Musti Uncle, what's going on?
Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Salam, Musti.
Alhamdulillah.
Oh, Laka. Mamta.
Kina pochi hai banaite.
How? straight from Kibokhoni, Old Town, Mombasa.
MashaAllah. Musti was my neighbor. He knows my story.
Oh, he was your neighbor.
Yes.
Musti Uncle,
Absolutely.
Musti Uncle was telling us stories about his friends. They were. Are you cooking, Musti Uncle? Oh, you left. Okay, hopefully he's gonna come back.
I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah, he's probably cooking. But
Yeah.
Mama Uncle, I wanted to ask you before he comes back. What's the one job that you'll always remember that was your favorite job?
Oh, since my career, the whole thing?
Yeah. The one job you're like, this is my favorite.
So I think my favorite job was, when I was working in Africa. I really enjoyed my work there in Nairobi. Although you don't earn much money, right? but I really enjoyed my interaction because I used to sit down with the local people and talk to them after, like during breaks and things like that. And that's really where I learned my social skills. When I was talking to them, when you're a young man, right, you kind of brush off things. And I used to see them, uh, really suffer and things like that. So I used to listen to their stories, but I really liked my job because I was so independent and I could do a lot of things on my own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I think
he's
Musti
back.
Uncle should be here. Okay, perfect. Musti
I
Uncle.
thought you went back to Mombasa. Musti Uncle, what happened? Where did you go? Oh, there he's connecting.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, perfect. So, Musti Uncle,
Yes.
now you have to give us a quick introduction. First of all, what are you doing outside right now? Or what are you cooking? And number two is, you need to give us a quick introduction of who you are and how did you get to the US? Because I know you were working at IBM for a while. Just a quick intro.
Well, I'm from Mombasa. I moved here in '89, and I was in New York. So I joined the IBM in '97, and then 2016 I moved to Orlando, and that's where I am right now.
Perfect. Now, what are you doing outside? Are you cooking right now?
No, right now I'm not cooking. In fact, we just finished today. I had iftar today for about 300 people here, so we did that.
Wow.
And now I'm in Baraza. In fact, I have all my buddies over here.
Oh, okay.
And
Musti Uncle,
most of them.
have you made ribs yet?
Short ribs, not for Ramadan yet.
Oh, okay. Make sure you send me Snapchat when you do.
I will,
Okay, so
absolutely.
Musti Uncle, we want to play a quick game since you guys knew each other growing up. We're gonna put you guys to the test.
Okay.
Okay, so Monty, you ask the questions to Mahmoud Uncle, and
Okay.
then we'll go ahead and ask Musti what he thinks the answers are for Mahmoud Uncle, and then we'll do the same for Musti Uncle. Let's see how well they actually knew each other when they were growing up.
Okay. All right.
Mostly.
Atham, you should go first.
Okay.
I think you should ask Musti Uncle first, and then we'll ask Mama Uncle.
Okay, let's ask Musti Uncle first, and Mahmoud Uncle, you can guess.
Mhm.
All right, Musti Uncle. Who was Mahmoud Uncle's best friend growing up?
Oh, there were quite a few.
Who's the one you're like, yo, this guy is like his judgy buddy?
I would say Hasnain Lakha, maybe Hasnain. We call him Hasnain Tembe. Either him or I would say Ali Raza.
Okay. Mahmoud Uncle?
I think Musti is very right. I had a friend, Hasnain, and I'm still connected to him. We are in high school together. Musti knows me because we're in the same group here. You know how we talk here, right? So Musti knows me very well, and I think he's right. Yeah.
Perfect. Musti Uncle, what was Mahmoud Uncle's first job in Africa?
I know. Wait, I know his father had an electrician or electrical supply store in Mombasa. I know that much. And his father had a Vespa. I don't know if you a scooter. That's what he used to drive. Muhammad Raza, I would say Laka accounting, if I'm not mistaken.
Mahmoud Uncle?
He's close enough, right? Because everybody knows me as just an accounting person. It was actually systems, right? And things, but it's pretty close enough, right? But my very first job, my very first job was when I was 18 years old. When I'd finished my high school.
Yeah.
And I used to be, you know how you have those car rental places?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, write up those contracts for car rentals and just rent the cars out at that time, right? That was my very first job. But professionally, yeah, Musti is very close. Accounting, he's got it, yeah.
There we go. So you know them pretty well. Okay, Musti Uncle, you have two more questions.
Okay.
Okay, what was the age of Mahmoud Uncle when he came to the United States?
He left earlier. I would say he came to States 85. I would say 84, 85.
So again, he's very close. It wasn't States, but Canada, right? And I mentioned that I was 85. I went to
There you go.
university, right? And I was 18, 19 years old at that time, right? So that was the time frame that I came. He's right. Because Maitam and Mutazir, in those times, and Musti will agree, if somebody left Mombasa and went outside, everybody knew that this guy is gone, right? This guy is
That's
just
right.
disappeared, right?
That's right.
The whole town knew
Alright.
that you left.
And that brings us to the last question, Musti uncle. When Mamad uncle was in Mombasa, what was his grade school that he attended?
What was his?
What was his grade school that he attended?
Alibai Panjito for sure. Okay. Alibai Panju for sure. All of us went there. Right, Mamza?
Barabar.
That's it. That was your guys' school, Mamad uncle. That was the name of the school?
So Alibai Panju was like a junior school, right? And all the Itnashari students went to that school.
Yep.
So let's say, for example, our community, right?
Yeah.
Everybody would go to one school, right? Boys and girls.
Okay.
We had a very large school, and Musti and myself and all of us went to the same school there. So
Okay. Go ahead, Monty. It's Mamad uncle's turn.
All right, so Mogo, what was the name of Muslim uncle's best friend growing up?
What was-
Musti had a lot of friends, man. I'm telling you.
He's still
I
there.
just it's anime. So here's the thing with Musti, right? We used to go play cricket when we were kids there, right? And Musti used to bully us. Okay, Musti had a bat and a ball, and he would just throw the ball at us, and he always batted and just said, "You guys just keep balling." So Musti, just how he controls the volleyball teams and all that. This is all from his childhood. So I just can't recall. There were so many friends Musti had. I just don't know his best friend. I think everyone was his best friend.
All right, Muslim uncle, who was your best friend growing up?
Oh man, I had a lot. You know what I mean?
If you could only name one,
Beef.
maybe
You
two.
can't say. You can't say beef.
I had a lot of friends. Believe me, I'm not kidding you. And Mamza knows.
Oh my God, he knew the whole town.
Yeah, seriously. Because I'll tell you something. I had a car in Mombasa, and so I used to take the car without my parents knowing about it. And sometimes what I would do is anybody who wants to come in that car would give me $5. Okay. Yes. So I would take $5 from everybody. We were 6 of us, and we would go to a gas station and put gas in the car, and then go around. Okay. Once the gas is done, we go park it at home. The next day, my dad takes that car and it runs out of gas on the road. You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's how it was. So Mamza knows that,
Yeah, I know
So
him.
that's why I had a lot of friends in Mombasa.
It's like that Volkswagen buggy or something.
Street buggy.
All right. So Mogo, moving on. What was Musti's first job?
So Musti, I think, left for the US long time ago, right? And I think from what I know, he used to work at IBM. He was a systems person with hardware, and he used to run these large printers and servicing them. Is what I know. He's quite good at that. Musti, I don't know if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, customer support specialist. Printers.
Dang.
All right.
Yeah, pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
So kind of piggybacking off that question, Mobile Uncle, when did Musti Uncle come to the United States?
1989. That's what I think he told us.
Yep.
He gave us the
He
answer.
gave that answer away. He said it
Yeah,
right
he
away,
did,
right in the
yeah.
beginning.
So,
Right.
Mutazir, I'll tell you one thing. One thing I don't forget, right? It's when you said what's the one talent that you have, right? You asked Zulfu. There's one thing.
I want to
Come back
stop
to
you.
that.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. All right. So the last question is, I think they already answered it about the grade school, because I think they said that all the Ishnash would go to Alibaba Panju.
Alibai Panju. Alibaba.
Not Alibaba. Put this here.
All right, so Mitham, you can go ahead and start with the last thing.
Okay, last thing. Musti uncle, before I continue the last thing, I was supposed to ask you right now, who is your best friend?
Right now, who is
Yeah,
my
right
best
now.
friend?
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of friends, man. You know that?
I was told to ask you your specific best friend right now, but it's okay.
Well, I'll tell you something. I have a lot of best friends. And here I have somebody one yelling and shouting out Riaz, Jivraj, and whatever now. Everybody's a good friend of mine. I have everybody, he's a very good friend of mine. But to me, I'll tell you one thing. Seriously, I'll tell you one thing. I have only one best friend who never lets me down. No, everybody's wrong. There's only one, and he is the only one who looks after me whenever I'm in any state, and that's my God, my Allah. That's why you see I wear the pendant.
There you go. There we go.
Alhamdulillah.
There we go.
Yeah, Ahmed
now-
Baraza, you could tell, right?
Now, Musti uncle and Mahmoud uncle, it comes down to our last question. You can't say no. You have to think of something. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mahmoud uncle will start off with you. What is one hidden talent that you can show us?
Okay.
Something
That
that
you
no
have,
one really
talent.
knows.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, I've been listening to you guys, right? I mean, this is not a surprise question. I heard, Zulfo with his mathematical skills and Ansar can make his fingers and all this stuff. And I saw a bunch of things. I'll tell you, with talent is developed. Okay, it's nothing that it comes automatic from you, right? So, but one hidden talent, like something that I'm just blessed with, okay, is you may not find me really good in, like a star player in a sport where I'm playing, right? But basically, I think my talent is that you bring a sport and I'll play it.
Okay.
But if you put me in a table tennis thing, I'll compete. I'll be a competitive person, right? If you put me in volleyball, I'll be competitive. Put me in tennis, I'll be able to play, right?
That was from before. That was from Mombasa.
Mombasa. I always, anything you put me in, I'll be able to do that. It's not like I'll be awkward or something. It just builds up, and I think that's kind of like
Okay.
I think that's pretty good.
Monty, go ahead. Monty, go ahead.
All right, Mr. Uncle, your turn. I know you're a man of many talents, cooking, reciting, playing volleyball. I will be here all night if I just name them all out. What is one hidden talent of yours, Mr. Uncle?
What talent do I have, man? I have I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
One talent we want to see.
You have to say at least one.
One talent. One talent I want to see. One talent hidden in me that I don't know what it is. One talent. I don't know.
I can tell you his talent.
Simple. You have to give one.
You can tell us.
Laka, go ahead.
Yeah, I can tell you his talent.
Mamza, go ahead.
And his talent is every single day, right? He has this different kinds of foods he can prepare, right? He has got that talent. And he has got this talent of torturing people early in the morning. When we are fasting and he sends all these pictures out, right? I don't know, mushkaki and I don't know whatnot and this and that. So I think Musti has that talent of cooking, right? He's a really good cook. As you guys must have seen also, right? So
Can you agree to it? You have something else that maybe Mahmoud doesn't know about?
Well, yeah, there is something. One of my hidden talent is to become a president one day.
mashallah.
Wait,
No,
president
not-
what?
Not of Jamaat. Not of Jamaat. Jamaat, I gave it to Laka to become. Not of Jamaat. I want to be a president of America. You asked me for a hidden talent, right?
Okay, well, I guess that does it. Well, I'll take it.
I say, you guys put me in a spot. Maitam, you told me to just join. I had no idea you were gonna put me in a spot, man.
But guys, you can see that Musti where he is, there's no social distancing and they're really enjoying Ramadan. I wish it could be like that.
In fact, I have everybody over here. You'll see right here.
Look at that.
Man,
I want to ask
this music is getting practice.
Hello, guys. You see that, right?
All right. Well, with that, thank you both. Muslim uncle, thank you for joining us.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Mufti Uncle.
And
Thank you.
inshallah, we'll see you guys all soon. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Same
Thank you
here.
so much.
Salam to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Khudafis.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Yeah.
Yes.